Every NBA era has stars. Players remembered for points, for rings, for buzzer beaters that live forever on highlight reels. But not everyone is remembered for basketball skill. Some players are remembered for what happened when the game broke down, when the whistles didn't matter, when the refs lost control, when the crowd stopped cheering and started reacting. These weren't moments you planned for. They weren't drawn up on a clipboard. They were chaos. The kind of chaos that changes games, changes careers, changes the league itself. These players didn't wait for the whistle, didn't wait for teammates to calm them down, didn't think about consequences until it was already too late. They didn't care about fines. They didn't care about suspensions. They didn't care who was standing in front of them. Superstar, role player, coach, referee, fan. It didn't matter. When things escalated, they escalated fast. Fights broke out. Benches cleared. Entire arenas stood up, not to cheer, but to brace themselves. And here's the part people forget. A lot of this wasn't accidental. These weren't misunderstandings. These weren't emotions running high. These were decisions. Moments where a player decided, I don't care what happens next. Full-blown crash outs. Today, we're breaking down the top 5 biggest crash outs in NBA history. 5 players who tested the limits of what the NBA would tolerate. 5 personalities who made the league uncomfortable. 5 reminders that basketball hasn't always been clean and polished. Some were champions. Some were villains. Some burned everything down around them. And when we get to number 1, you'll understand why the NBA was never the same again. Before we start, hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's get into it. Number 5, Draymond Green, the modern day crash out. Draymond Green might be the most protected crash out in NBA history. From the moment he stepped onto an NBA floor, he played like everything was personal. Not fired up, not emotional, angry. Every rebound felt like a challenge. Every screen came with an extra shove. Every loose ball turned into a wrestling match. Draymond didn't just play defense. He tested boundaries. Early on, fans loved it. They called him gritty. They called him tough. They said this was championship basketball. But the line kept moving. Elbows became kicks. Physicality became intent. Competition became confrontation. By 2016, it boiled over. NBA Finals, Warriors versus Cavaliers, a dynasty hanging in the balance. Draymond kicks opponents in the groin, again, and again, and again. Enough times that the league had no choice. Game 5 suspension. Golden State loses momentum. LeBron completes the comeback. NBA history changes forever. One crash out moment changes the outcome of a championship. And somehow, it didn't stop there. Draymond kept screaming at refs, kept towing the line, kept doing things other players wouldn't get away with. Then, 2022 happens. Practice, no fans, no warning. He punches Jordan Poole, full force, cold. The video leaks. Everyone expects consequences. And almost nothing happens. Why? Because rings buy patience, and winning buys forgiveness. But don't get it twisted. Draymond Green is a crash out who survived because he was valuable. Anywhere else, his career might have ended early. Now, time for an era shift before social media, before viral clips, before every incident lived forever online. Crash outs look different. They weren't dissected on podcasts. They weren't clipped into TikToks. They just happened. And nobody embodied that era better than the next name on this list. Number 4, Rasheed Wallace. Technical foul terror. Wallace didn't fight players. He fought authority, referees, officials, the league office itself. Rasheed Wallace once recorded 41 technical fouls in a single season. That's not just a record. That's defiance. Every whistle felt like disrespect. Every missed call felt personal. He'd stop playing defense just to argue. Chase referees down the court. Stand inches from their faces. No fear, no backing down. Refs knew his name. Fans expected the outburst. Teammates braced themselves every night. And when other players stepped in to calm things down, it escalated. Shoving, chest bumps, moments that felt seconds away from punches. Rashid wasn't dirty. He wasn't sneaky. He was volatile. One night he'd get ejected in the first quarter. Another night he'd dominate a playoff game. That unpredictability made him dangerous to everyone. So dangerous, the NBA literally changed the rules to slow him down. When the league rewrites policy because of you, you're not just intense, you're a crash out. Let's move to when intimidation was the strategy. Before flagrant reviews, before tech point systems, before image control, there was intimidation. And no one weaponized it like the next man on this list. Number 3, Bill Laimbeer, the most hated man in the NBA. Ask any old school NBA player one question: who did you hate playing against the most? The answer doesn't hesitate: Bill Laimbeer. Laimbeer didn't foul hard. He fouled to hurt, elbows to ribs, forearms to faces, cheap shots when refs weren't looking. As the enforcer of the bad boy Pistons, his job wasn't to score, it was to intimidate. If you drove to the basket, you were getting hit. If you complained, you were getting hit again. If you retaliated, he smiled, because that meant he won. He started fights weekly, got punched, got shoved, got cursed out, and every time played innocent. Hands up, wide eyes. What did I do? Michael Jordan despised him. Larry Bird hated him. Fans booed him in every arena. Bill Laimbeer wasn't just a crash out, he was a calculated antagonist, and the NBA allowed it because violence sold tickets. Now, let's speak on when things stopped being basketball. Up to this point, everything we've talked about happened on the court, but the next name crossed the line. That had nothing to do with basketball. Number 2, Latrell Sprewell, when violence crossed the line. Latrell Sprewell always felt unstable. Trash talk escalated instantly. Arguments turned personal fast. Then in 1997, the line disappeared. Warriors practice. No fans, no cameras. Coach P.J. Carlesimo criticizes Sprewell's passing. That's it. Sprewell charges him, wraps both hands around his neck, starts choking him. Players have to pull him off. Practice ends. Then Sprewell comes back and tries again. This wasn't basketball. This wasn't emotion. This was assault. The NBA suspends him for a full season. The Warriors void his contract. Even when he returns, that moment never leaves. Coaches watch their words. Teammates walk on eggshells. Latrell Sprewell crossed the line. No one else ever has. And once you cross it, there's no undoing it. Now, the moment everything changed. Everything we've talked about so far was ugly, but it was contained. Until one night when it wasn't. Number 1, Ron Artest, the night that changed the NBA. November 19th, 2004. Pacers, Pistons, a rivalry simmering. A hard foul, a shove, trash talk. Then a fan throws a drink. Ron Artest doesn't pause. He reacts. He storms into the stands. Not security, not teammates. The crowd. Punches fly. Fans swing back. Players join in. This isn't a fight. It's a riot. Broadcast live. Parents watching at home. Kids watching at home. The entire sports world watching. The fallout is historic. 73-game suspension. Criminal charges. Careers altered forever. The NBA changes overnight. Security protocols. Alcohol policies. Fan interaction rules. One crash out moment forces the league to protect itself. No one else comes close. Ron Artest isn't just number 1. He changed the NBA forever. The NBA looks different now. Cleaner, controlled, careful. But these players remind us what it used to be. Raw, unpredictable, dangerous. So now I want to hear from you. Who's the biggest crash out in NBA history? Oakley, Rodman, the Morris twins, drop it in the comments. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Because sometimes basketball isn't about scoring. It's about who is willing to crash out first. I'll see you in the next one.